of all, I am very happy to be with you, joining you from the Southwest United States mountains on this very important topic of humanism, integral humanism, and what I would also call Vedic humanism. I was recently in India from late January into the early part of March and did a number of programs in various places. I visit frequently, and these are subjects that we address at various levels. And humanism has a very different meaning in the Vedic and Bharatiya context, of course, than it does in the West. So I would like to start with the Vedic humanism, or what we can also call simply the Vedic Purusha, the Vedic view of the human being, and the Vedic view of consciousness. I'm also glad to be connected here to Rishihood University, because that is the need of the time, is the need for new rishis, because there are many challenges to humanity today. I will discuss some of these briefly as I go. So Vedas are based upon the idea of Purusha, which you could say is human being, but it's something more than that in any modern view of humanism. Vedic Purusha, person, as they say, Purusha Vedam Sarvam. Purusha is everything. The entire universe is one person, one being, one self, one consciousness. And in this particular context, the human being is meant to be an individual manifestation on earth or in the physical world of the entire universe as a whole. And each part of our human nature reflects a cosmic reality and ultimately the cosmic Purusha, the self of all beings. Now, of course, we usually do not look upon ourselves as a universal being. We focus on our particular location in time and space as defined by our physical body and our mortal life. And we also define ourselves relative to the mind or intellect, which even today we still look upon more relative to the brain or as something physical. So this Vedic idea of Purusha, of rishis, many, many thousands of years ago, is a much more transcendent and futuristic vision that integrates the human being with all living beings, all existence, all the lokas, and many aspects of our nature, not simply physical, but also pranic, mental, intelligence, satchit, ananda. So that in itself is an integral humanism and brings about a revolution in consciousness. Now, Upanishads took this vision further, and in a similar way, Atma, oneself in all beings, the Atma, Purusha, dwells in the hearts of all beings as their true nature. And we also have, of course, the Atma Brahman equation, and Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman. The self, the Purusha, the person is everything, is the entire universe, is hidden in all as the self and consciousness, not simply the outer name, form, and physical being. And what we have in our ordinary human consciousness, which still dominates the world today, including our science and technology, is identification of human being with the body, human beings with time, space, physical entity. And as Sri Aurobindo said, we are a mentalized material being, and we are still caught in that material aspect. Now, if we then go on to yoga, we also have the yoga Purusha. Yoga is defined as the realization of the Purusha in the same Vedic, Upanishadic, and Gita context, but more specifically as the drashta or the seer, or more clearly the power of seeing, which transcends everything that is seen, beyond the senses and beyond the mind, pure light of consciousness. So humanism, in the Vedic sense, has that transcendent and universal implication, and also integral in that it does include all the koshas. It does include the physical, the subtle, the causal, and yet it is also beyond those, and then takes us to a different type of society, a different type of culture and civilization, which was developed and still to some degree persist in India, in Bharat. Now, humanism in the Western context is something very different. In the Greek context, the human being was also the mental being. In the European context, Descartes, I think, therefore I am, is actually backwards. I am, therefore I think. I am in spite of thinking or not thinking, and my true being is beyond the mind. And the Western idea of religion, the human being is a combination of body and soul, but it is still rooted in a physical reality, a judgment on a particular physical life. And now we are in a different stage and development of society that is also changing what the human being is and how we view the human being, which has been changing in the last couple centuries of technology, but very radically changing in the last few decades of the new technology. So we are, as human beings, basically still physical beings. Upanishads say that the asura is one who identifies the self with the body. Asura doesn't mean something demonic, it means something caught up in outer power and appearance. And so in that respect, the asuric force is still moving in the world. We're trying to increase our material power. We do that through property, possessions, power over other people, equipment, weapons, armies, all the rest of it, trying to dominate the world at a natural level, dominate nature, and also dominate other human beings. So now we are not only mentalized material beings, we are highly electrified and even to some extent chemically altered by our pharmaceutical medicine, and sometimes even genetically affected. And the human being now is not so much looking for the transcendent Atma, but is caught in a virtual reality and seeking to expand the human image outwardly in society and the material world, not so much at a spiritual level. Our new technology is almost a subtle connection to the astral realm, but at a more outer level. And this is causing many more challenges to human beings, how we define ourselves and what we do. And in this regard, we are now challenged by a new war. We are challenged by losing our human nature at the ordinary level of history and taking on this kind of technological and even media-based identity, and even making it more important than our physical well-being and also than our spiritual well-being. Now, Sri Aurobindo spoke of an integral humanism in a very different way. His view, an integral humanism that integrates the human being, again, with the entire universe in the Vedic context, and also still honors the physical aspect of life, but it is encompassed by a greater self-realization and is meant, even in the same Upanishadic vision, as a universal manifestation, or a manifestation of the universal divine. Now, we have modern physics today that's talking about some type of universal consciousness, perhaps a particle, perhaps a wave, but still very far from this idea of the human being integrally one with all aspects of the universe and all aspects of the divine. And in his integral yoga, he is also promoting integrating yoga into all aspects of life, which is very challenging, whether it is profession, relationship, society, even politics. And even today, that also means science and technology and our new information technology era. Now, to do that, we need an awareness at a Rishi level, which is an awareness, I would say, as the Rishis do, beyond mind and intellect, a pure presence of consciousness, the witness of all, the seer, that is not identified with or limited to the appearances revealed by the mind, whether the physical body or the external world, but views them as instruments of a greater divine manifestation, or as tools for this cosmic Purusha to manifest and to come into being. Now, this means a very major change in society and humanity. And what we are seeing today, particularly in the Western world, is almost a decline in civilization and the loss of a deeper vision and creativity. But in this same time frame, we are seeing the revival or the resurgence of India or of Bharat, and India's own new view of humanity, civilization, and the revival of its own dharmic civilization. This is something that Sri Aurobindo also had predicted and promoted, bringing this divine Shakti and power of consciousness into all aspects of life. But it is very challenging because the rest of the world does not have that vision. And so far, we are using that technology for a greater self-aggrandizement rather than for the best wishes or the greater needs of all humanity and nature. So we need to recognize a need for that yogic consciousness to deal properly with technology. What we call artificial intelligence is a misnomer. Intelligence cannot be artificial. An artificial human being is not a true human being. Whatever is artificial is something that is not genuine or real. Instead, we need a transcendent or intelligence rooted in the divine, as the supramental that Sri Aurobindo so eloquently speaks about, to take up the human being body, but also society, even politics, science, and technology as an instrument for a higher consciousness, which means to have a higher set of ideals behind them and the recognition of something that transcends them. I think it was Sanjeev Sanyal who made an interesting statement recently that artificial intelligence is a good slave, but a bad master. We could say that of technology in general, that it is a tool to make our outer life easier and better, but is not a substitute for creative intelligence or for the guru or for our connection to Ishvara, the cosmic ruling intelligence, or for our own Atma. If we are connected to the true human being, the Atma, the Purusha, creative intelligence naturally flows through us. The great yogis could chant and manifest so many mantras, tantras, text, sadhanas, realizations, insights without needing any equipment. The great Rishi could travel throughout the entire universe while sitting in a meditation pose and not going anywhere in physical time. So we need to restore that vision that we are connected to the universe as a whole, and that any outer forms and powers are simply tools for us to master. And ultimately, we cannot master this human life without going to the self, the Atman within. Intellect is not enough. What we call intellect, particularly in the educational systems we have in the world today, is the outward-looking, discriminating intelligence, dividing up and organizing the world and our human life into name, form, number, achievement, quantity, possession, again, outer material forms and outer material aspirations. We need a greater aspiration to what is beyond quantity, what is beyond name, form, and number, and yet the great challenge, because we also need to manifest that eternal, infinite being in the context of a mortal body and a transient material world, and even in a more specific historical context. And carrying on that Rishi heritage, India, Bharat, has that opportunity to again function as the Vishwaguru, or the guide of humanity, the guide of nations, because it has continued throughout the centuries that Rishi vision of all life as yoga, and has also preserved those teachings back to the Vedas and all their mantric forms, but has also manifested great rishis and sages up to the present day that can guide us in that process. While the Western world was trying to control humanity through military and economic power, in the 19th or near the turn of the 20th century, Swami Vivekananda brought yoga Vedanta to the world. And I also do want to mention Kavyakantha Ganapati Muni, because he has left a great mantric heritage in the Sanskrit language. His work is available in 12 volumes. Sampadananda Mishra helped with the critical edition of that. The mantric secrets of yoga, Veda, Tantra, and transformation of the human consciousness and understanding the true humanity, which is a cosmic presence and which is a power, a Shakti needed to raise the manifestation so the universal can manifest in our human world, human body, and in our society, and in our, eventually, in our very contentious world today. So particularly for the younger generation, this is a very challenging times. Many difficulties are coming up. Many difficulties will remain. We are weaponizing the new technology rather than mastering it from a standpoint of higher consciousness. And we need to have that aspiration for all of humanity at physical, social, mental, and also spiritual levels in the Vedic sense, so that we can take our human evolution forward as an evolution in consciousness in the universal sense, and as an ascension to a higher level of awareness, not just an expansion to greater material power, that does have its place at an outer level of our lives. And I must also state that whatever we do with technology and our artificial lives, we must remember we are a manifestation of millions of years of evolution in the world of nature, and beyond that, of an eternal evolution in the cosmic consciousness. And we need to honor that and take that forward, not be driven or controlled by our technology and media, but use it as a tool for greater awareness and well-being. That may take some generations, but we at least have to manifest and hold that aspiration. And India has that potential, and great gurus like Sri Aurobindo, Ganapati Muni, going all the way back to the Vedic rishis, have given us that. And integral humanism in the Vedic sense also has an integral knowledge. And by that, we include all the Vedic sciences, yoga, Vedanta, Ayurveda, Vastu, Jyotish, all the Vedic arts, the music, the dance, the temple architecture, and the Vedic approach to science, the Vedic approach to the universe as a manifestation of consciousness. Science is moving in that direction, and all life as sacred, and the entire universe is a manifestation of our inner being, and our true place and goal in life is to manifest more of that universal being and bring that into every aspect of life, the food, the anna, that is Brahman, the prana, the life force, that is Brahman, the mind, the intelligence, the being, the consciousness, the bliss. So I am very happy to be with you. I have shared a few of my works. I have books, of course, website courses, complicated statements I make, but also I do work with the media and try to bring these ideas out. It's very important that everyone vote and everyone favors the new India and the yogic vision that we need to bring back and hold it as a great inspiration and gift for all of humanity, each one of you in your own way, and working together with various institutions, teachers, and social leaders to bring this new integral spiritual yogic humanism back and to also bring it forward to work with our new technological age and help bring out a new intelligence in humanity, which again is not the artificial intelligence, but is that can come from the divine Shakti, higher levels of intelligence beyond the mind that we need so much today. So with these words, I'll complete my talk. I don't know if there's time for questions or anything else, but again, I'm very happy to be with you, and I hope in the future to be continued connected to these organizations like Rishihood University or Pragya Prava and all the great work that's being done in India to bring this higher consciousness, education, intelligence, humanity, and new vision for our world today and the 21st century. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om Tat Sat. Take these teachings to the Purusha within you, the integral human being in the heart. Manifest that, share that with all, and let us take this world to a higher level of cosmic awareness, which is so necessary today. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you very much, Professor Frawley, for this address, wonderful address. And I'm sure you will be happy to know that we as Center for Science University have taken up the task of translating Kavyakantha Ganapati Muni's work, all the 12 volumes from Sanskrit to English and so moving forward, I request the audience if they have any questions, go ahead and ask. Do we have any questions? Thanks very much for the talk. My question is, we all pursue the realization of our self-realization on the name of Shiv or Samadhi. As is the objective of life. But with the AI, there is a false consciousness being created and projected as a need. So, though it has a cognitive meaning, the words, but we know that this is a very utilitarian consciousness. There is the human consciousness which has to be involved. How to reconcile this this situation? What is the role of dharma, this digital age, which gives kind of reflective behind the form of false consciousness?
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear all of what you said. Is it possible to simplify the question and make it more audible for me?
Yeah, so my question is So my question is, uh, I just thank you for the wonderful talk. I have been your student for so many years. Uh, I have a NPTEL course, Swayamprabha course on yoga and positive psychology, which generally 8-10,000 students take in every semester. And I have extensively quoted your work in all those, in many of those lectures. So really, it's a guru moment for me to interact and to have to ask this question to you directly uh, uh, in this live kind of interaction. My question is, uh, refinement of the consciousness known in the form of self-realization, known as the in the form of known as a samadhi or moksha, that has been the uh, foremost purushartha in the Bharatiya tradition. In the
Yes.
form of AI, we are getting a stuff which is cognitively meaningful but not conscious as human consciousness is. But this looks like a, it's a great maya, it's a great illusion, but it is also meaningful. So how to reconcile this, the question of dharma and purushartha in the age of this, in the digital age, which is and the AI is very much, very powerful characteristic of this digital age.
Yes, that is the question today. And of course, we are just entering into this era. But we have to remember that AI is something invented and structured, designed by human beings, and reflecting the motivation and the understanding of the people behind it and how they are programming it. So it's very important that we have the vision of rishis, sages, yogis who are looking into that and can guide the AI. But the AI cannot be a guru. The AI is, I would say, it's the ultimate information management, editing system. It's very good for translation of languages, clarification of ideas, correlation of data, but it is not a living being. It cannot make decisions for us. It can simply give us better information. But the ultimate decision is always made by consciousness and inner awareness and seeing, the state of the seer. So we also have to recognize the limitations of AI and develop our connection to Mahatattva, the cosmic intelligence as well. Why can't we interact and access, you might say, the universal internet, not just simply the one made by our machines? That's what the rishis could do. That is accessible through the Akasha, through the mantra, through the higher chakras. So that must be borne in mind as well. Now, for organizing society, we do need things like AI because we have so much equipment, so many people, data, information, languages, experiments, and things going on. But we must also keep it in its place and develop our art, our creativity, and our original thinking. I go on to the computer now and it says AI will help you say something. I have to say, so far, I have not accepted AIs in guidance in any way. I do appreciate spell checking and editing in certain contexts. I'm someone who is old enough to have written 6 or 8 books on a typewriter, and I can tell you it's a lot better to use the word processor, and it can allow you to say more. AI can increase the number of people we can communicate with and correlate levels of ideas and information, but only to a certain point. We need to still have the silent meditation, the contemplation of nature, the opening to nature's intelligence, and the inner internet, which begins with Om and which is the basis of the Vedas and which connects us to the universal Shakti Thank you for your help. I'm happy to know the great work that you're doing, and I am happy you will be taking this forward for the benefit of all.